Talentless Nana looks like a typical superpowers anime. A school full of gifted students training to fight humanity's enemies. A cheerful, pink-haired girl who just transferred in. Everything feels familiar, safe, almost boring. And that is exactly what it wants you to think. Because what this show is actually doing, from the very first scene to the very last, is asking one question that most people never think to ask about the systems and institutions built around them. What if the thing protecting you was never protecting you? What if it identified you as a threat long before you did anything wrong, and sent someone warm and smiling to stand next to you while it figured out how to make you disappear? That is Talentless Nana. And once you understand what it's really saying, you will never look at the people who seem too friendly too fast the same way again.
The story opens on an island school where students with extraordinary abilities, telepathy, super strength, regeneration, elemental powers, are being trained as humanity's ultimate weapons against creatures called the enemies of humanity. It's a premise you've seen before: a school full of special kids, a clear enemy, a clear purpose. The show even gives you a protagonist to follow, Nanao Nakajima, a boy with no powers in a school full of people with extraordinary ones. He's awkward, earnest, and trying his best in a world that has already decided he doesn't quite fit. Then Nana Hiragi arrives. Pink hair, warm smile, instantly popular. She floats into the classroom like someone who has never had a difficult day in her life, and immediately starts making friends with everyone, including Nanao, who nobody else really bothered with. She's kind, attentive. She remembers small details about people. She asks the right questions. She makes everyone feel genuinely seen. And within the first episode, you have completely accepted her as the protagonist's love interest, or best friend, or both. End of episode 1. Nana pushes Nanao off a cliff, and the show reveals everything. She is not a student. She is a government-trained assassin. Her mission is to infiltrate the school, identify students whose abilities could become threats to humanity in the future, and eliminate them before that happens. Every smile was calculated. Every friendship was intelligence gathering. Every moment of warmth was a weapon.
Here is where Talentless Nana stops being a twist anime and starts being something genuinely disturbing. Because the question the show is really asking is not whether Nana is good or evil, it's whether the system that created her and gave her orders was ever justified in the first place. The government that built Nana into an assassin made a fundamental decision that certain people, based on their potential, based on what they might do with their abilities someday, needed to be eliminated now. Not for crimes committed, not for harm caused, for futures that hadn't happened yet. Every student Nana is sent to kill is being judged on a projection, a calculation, a threat assessment built from data about what people with similar abilities have done in the past. The system looked at these children who were currently doing nothing wrong, who were training, who were trying to become protectors, and decided that statistically, historically, the risk was too high, and it sent a 16-year-old girl with a warm smile to solve the problem quietly so nobody would ask questions. What makes this more disturbing than a simple villain story is how completely reasonable the system's logic sounds when you lay it out plainly. Prevent the harm before it happens, identify the threat before it becomes active, remove the danger before people get hurt. Every authoritarian system in history has used that exact logic, and every time the people being removed were told, or were never told at all, that it was for the greater good. Nana was not a monster. She was a tool built by people who convinced themselves that building her was necessary, and the students she was sent to kill had done absolutely nothing except exist with abilities that made someone in power uncomfortable. The most important thing that happens in Talentless Nana is not the twist, it's what comes after it. Because Nana, this government-trained assassin who has been doing this job long enough that killing should feel routine, starts to hesitate. Not because she gets caught, not because someone threatens her, but because she actually gets to know the people she's supposed to eliminate. And knowing them changes something the system never accounted for when it built her. She was trained to see targets, threat assessments, files with ability descriptions and projected danger levels. She was never trained to see people.
But the school forces her to sit next to them, eat with them, laugh with them, watch them be scared and brave and stupid and kind in all the ways real people are. And at some point, the gap between the file and the person in front of her becomes impossible to ignore. The system told her who these people would become. The reality in front of her kept showing her who they actually were. Nana's arc is about what happens when a weapon develops a conscience the people who built it never intended to give it. She starts protecting the students she was sent to kill, not because she stopped believing in protecting humanity, but because she started understanding that the system claiming to protect humanity was doing something that looked a lot like the opposite. She was built to eliminate threats. She chose to become a shield instead. Same training, same skills, completely different choice about who deserved to be protected. The system created Nana to be its most effective tool, and the most effective thing she ever did was decide that the system was wrong. Here is what Talentless Nana is actually describing. The logic the government in this show operates on, identify threats based on potential, eliminate them before they can act, keep the population safe by removing the people who might someday become dangerous, is not fictional. It has a real name. It's called pre-crime, and versions of it are being implemented right now in the real world with far less transparency than even the show provides. In the United States, predictive policing algorithms are currently being used to generate lists of individuals considered likely to commit violent crimes in the future before they have committed any crime at all. These individuals are then subjected to increased surveillance, police contact, and in some cases, preemptive intervention. The criteria the algorithm uses to identify them includes things like who they know, where they live, and what their social network looks like, not what they have done, what the system calculates they might do. That is the Nana program, running on a server right now. In China, the social credit system flags individuals based on behavior patterns and associations and restricts their access to travel, employment, and services based on a projected risk score rather than any specific crime. In the UK, predictive tools are being used in child protective services to identify families considered at risk of future neglect or abuse, flagging parents before anything has happened to their children based on data points the parents never consented to provide. The pattern is always the same. The system decides what you might become, and then it acts on that decision before you get to prove it wrong. What Talentless Nana understood, and what makes it more than just a twist anime, is that the most dangerous moment in any system is not when it starts punishing people for what they did, it's when it starts punishing people for what it calculated they might do. Because at that point there is no appeal, no evidence to present, no crime to defend yourself against. The decision was made in an algorithm and executed by someone with a warm smile who made you feel safe right up until the moment it was too late. Nana chose differently. The question the show leaves you with is whether the system is making these calculations in the real world right now about real people, including people like you, have anyone inside them willing to do the same. The smile was always the weapon.